Okay, hello. I'm Ira Naiman. I'm from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And today I'll be talking about the three most important influences in my work. I should explain that I am a comedy writer primarily. I've been doing it for a long time. For the past decade or so, I've been working on prose, so it may come as a bit of a surprise to find that actually my three major influences were performing groups, as a matter of fact. The first one was the Marx Brothers, whom I saw their main movies as a kid because at that point in time the television networks were showing films from the 30s, 40s, and 50s late at night or on weekends. That was a great introduction to the art of comedy. My next influence a few years later, probably my main influence actually, was Monty Python's Flying Circus. And around the time I started watching that show, I also started hearing snippets of a comedy group that I've only just started collecting their albums a few years ago. They are known as the Firesign Theatre. And there are two things that these three groups have in common that were really important to my development as a writer. The first is the volume of comedy that they would do. There were constant humorous devices going on all the time, payoff after payoff after payoff. And this to me was really important when I started to study and analyze humor and realize that one of the advantages of that is that if somebody doesn't get a joke, or if they just don't like it, they don't think it's particularly funny, that's okay, because there's another one coming immediately afterwards, and another one after that, and another one immediately after that. And people don't have to like every single thing you do, as long as they like enough of it to come away thinking that they've had a good time. But you can't just rely on volume, because one of the main elements of humor is surprise. And if you do the same kind of humor over and over again, you lose the element of surprise. The audience starts to realize what your pattern is, and the humor doesn't work quite so well. So the second thing that I learned from these two groups, which was very important to me, was that instead of focusing on one or two specific kinds of humor, you should use all of the different possible types of humor in your work. Mix them up. Have them in different formulas all the time, different combinations and permutations all the time. And that way the audience never catches up to what you're doing, and so the humor stays fresh throughout the whole work. Now, granted, all three groups can be accused of a certain kind of comic anarchy, if you will. There is a way that this results in a chaotic kind of work. But that's okay. My bonus fourth inspiration, which I've only just recently sort of analyzed and reasoned out, were the novels, the early novels of the earliest novels. Works like Cervantes' Don Quixote and Lawrence Stern's Tristram Shandy. What those two works did, unlike, say, most novels today, which have singular plots and small sets of characters, those novelists tried to grab as much reality as they could and put it in their work to reflect the chaotic nature of the lives we live. And so that, in a brief nutshell, are some of the influences that I had and some of the things that go into making my writing what it is today.